Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of In Between the Stitches. As always, I'm your host, Brady Wilson, with my co-host, Chase Olschwinger.
What's going on?
Well, there's a lot going on, Chase, and I have said repeatedly, and we are finally in that kind of week to 2 weeks. There's about a 2-week span. That's the best week. That's the best spot in all of sports.
Totally.
You've got the NBA in the season. You've got hockey. You've got football, college and the pros, and you've got World Series baseball.
Mm-hmm.
But we're going to start off, obviously, with our usual starting point, which is the Dallas Stars. Currently 7-2-0, absolutely having a great start to this season. They're playing, is that Friday?
Yes,
they're playing Friday in Finland as a part of the NHL trying to do. I don't think they're trying to get more global because obviously they're a pretty global game.
Right.
But they're trying to play more games, I think globally. So that's good. They get the defending champs and the Panthers, and probably one of the top 4 or 5 best teams in all of hockey in the Stars. So everything's just going great for us. We're scoring. We're playing defense. Ottinger and DeSmith are DeSmith's a great backup. He seems to be better than Wedgwood, which is nice.
You miss Wedgewall, but yeah.
You do, but I think DeSmith probably a little better. And I think you're getting your solid contributions from across the board.
Yeah. Yeah, listen, I was just at the game a couple nights ago versus the Blackhawks, and 4-2 win. Great game. Great goaltending, great scoring. Just, the team looks really, really good.
Yeah, it's kind of like with the Rangers, there's in the Mavs, I guess, there's just not as much to update as the season goes. Obviously, when we bring in Zach, he's a little better at updating on the ins and outs of what's going on. But ultimately, we boil it down to they're playing well.
Mm-hmm.
And playing well is underscoring. They're playing extremely well. I mean, right now, if you look at the standings, they're number 2 behind just a surging Winnipeg team in the Central. And obviously,
what's their record? Are they lost yet?
They're 8-1.
Okay.
We're the third best team in the conference, but we've played one less game than the Golden Knights, and we played in the same number as the Jets. So the Winnipeg Jets, right?
Yeah.
I'm not tripping there.
Yeah.
I had because their logo didn't look like a jet for a second.
Yeah.
I was like, wait a second,
Yeah.
am I messing up there? No. So Stars are playing well, and as we continue to have more updates, we will continue to update you guys on the Star season.
Yeah.
But we also got the Mavs. They've started. They are 2-1.
3-1.
3-1. Okay, that's right. I can remember how many games we had before.
Before our last episode, they have not started. I don't remember. No, they were the day after our episode last week. So officially, the season is underway for the Mavs. And I think I said on the episode last time that we'd only have 3 games, I believe, but I forgot that there was a back-to-back that we had to play last night. And they took care of business. And the Mavs, just like the Stars, starting out great, starting out as good as you expected, as good as you hoped. And again, same deal. Just stay healthy, keep playing well, keep playing your brand of basketball. Should be good. And they look good.
Clay is definitely, I think, worked out.
Yeah, he looks great.
He's beginning to where he's working out extremely well.
He looks great.
He really does. Gafford and Lively scoring more, which I've noticed. I've been trying to keep at least reading the box scores as to who's scoring and who's, obviously, where is it? Pretty, you take care of business with the Spurs, and then you just don't get enough scoring when it comes to the Suns game.
Yeah.
Your guys kind of went cold. But you take care of the Jazz, then take care of the Timberwolves.
Yeah.
Timberwolves have kind of become the joke is they've kind of become our new, the new team that we kind of just beat up on in the Western Conference, kind of like replacing the Suns, who used to be in that role, I guess.
Right. Well, going back to the Suns game, Luka had 40, Kyrie had 20 something, Clay had 19, and then you just didn't get anything from the other guys. And that's you had 109 points total, 81 of them came from those 3. Which, listen, you do rely on those 3 guys to give you majority of your points, especially Luka and Kyrie. But like last night. That game, not beating teams like Timberwolves, teams like the Suns, with just 3 guys scoring. And last night was a great example of when your other guys step up, because Luka struggled from the field the last couple nights. Last night wasn't as bad. He was still 10 of 26, 10 of 27 or something like that, which isn't necessarily great, especially for Luka. But you still won those games. And versus the Jazz, he struggled versus the Jazz. He struggled a little bit versus the Timberwolves, but still hit the crazy shot, the dagger shot.
Yeah.
But he's still obviously effective in every other way outside of, just scoring. But it shows a good example of PJ stepped up, Grimes stepped up, Lively and Gafford stepped up. Obviously, Kyrie had a monster game last night with 35 points. You get production. You don't need big production from other guys. You just need
enough
other guys to play their roles. PJ to have 10 points a game. Gafford and Lively to have 10 points, 10 rebounds a game, combined.
Right.
You get that from those guys. You know what you're going to get out of Luke and Kyrie. We always say it. You know what you're going to get out of them, especially and Clay. You know what you're going to get. These other guys do enough and do their roles. That's all you got to worry about.
As the great Bill Belichick would say, you just do your job.
Do your job.
And obviously do it well.
Yeah. Kids also coaching fantastic, by the way.
And I think adding Vogel maybe has helped our defense out a little bit.
I haven't even noticed Vogel on the bench. I haven't looked. I kind of just forgot that he's with us.
But the team has looked really good, and we hope. When's our next game?
It is tomorrow versus the Rockets.
So I think you said that, but I
didn't. No,
okay.
No.
You said it before we went on air. That's right.
Did I?
Yeah, I think you did.
I don't
That's
remember.
I jumbled up today.
But yes, tomorrow versus the Rockets, they are 2-2. Again, another young team that's looking pretty good for the future.
Yeah.
So not going to be an easy game, but
you ought to win.
Take care of business, do your job, and walk out of there 4-1.
Well, yeah, there's your Mavs update, and then we move to obviously we've got baseball, and we'll actually start out with a little bit of Rangers news. There's a little bit of Rangers news on the front. We're not going to talk about the TV deal because there's still not a lot of stuff about that. Obviously, re-signing Chris Young was priority number one. Took care of that. Obviously, I'm gonna get to the first. I'll get to the two smaller things. I'll get to the big topic when it comes to Rangers right now. Tim Hires was hired by the Atlanta Braves, be their hitting coach. That seems to be he's from Atlanta, so that seems to be a wanting to be closer to home type of thing.
It's kind of like Brunson going to the Knicks,
which is fine. That's cool. I don't think people were like, oh, he's glad to see him go. It's like, well, I don't blame it all on him. He's been here, the World Series team. He's not, you know what I mean? Like, don't just blame it all on Tim Hires. Right. And then the one that really hurts, because I've been saying it since he was hired, and now I cannot be proven right, even though I still believe I would have been right, which is Will Venable was hired away by the Chicago White Sox. So he will have the dubious task of trying to rebuild/revive the roster that just set the modern record for losses. Have fun.
Yeah, I mean,
have fun. I guess he really just wanted to manage because but
he would have in a year.
White Sox. Yeah, that's the thing. It's like you'd rather manage. It has to be the I can fix this. It's got to be. It's got to be the I can fix this team. I can help them out, and I want to build this thing. So I'm happy for him. Sad. I thought Grady Sizemore may retain the job, but he didn't. So maybe we just hire him as our. I think he was our bench coach,
who knows,
and assistant manager.
I mean, is there anybody that you can think of right now that you just would have to bet on to have the job?
No.
After next year?
No. Chris Woodward. I want to make people laugh. No. I don't know of any. The problem with baseball coaches is it's not like football coaches. It's not that they don't have control. They do. They have more control than I think people think they do. But something like Venable was more just like another guy within the brain trust. Like he didn't coach the hitters. He didn't coach the fielding. He didn't coach the pitchers. He just kind of made sure everyone was doing their job and doing it good. Right? He was the assistant to Bochy. So we'll see. I
got to guess right now.
What? I think I'm gonna agree with you on this.
Adrian Beltre.
That was not what I was thinking, but yeah, I would not. It would not surprise me if they go the Beltre, Kinsler,
Michael Young. That's
route.
What I was just about to say. I was going to say one of Beltre, Young, or Kinsler.
Or if you really want to get fun, Mike Napoli was fired by the Cubs, I believe, or he was let go. Or he left. He's not there anymore. So maybe if you want to give him a step up, like I could see one of those guys getting it.
I think it'd be cool to have Beltre back in the dugout.
If Beltre wants to try his hand at doing this, because he's talked about wanting to do it. I think one thing he has been waiting on is his kids.
Yeah.
I don't think so maybe not yet, but he definitely will be a manager one day. I would not be surprised.
Who did you think I was going to say?
I was actually going to, I was thinking more in terms of like who takes over for Bochy when he leaves.
Right, that's what I was thinking.
Oh,
right. Beltre. I want Beltre to take over for.
I'm thinking Donnie Ecker.
Yeah.
I'm not saying it's a bad hire. Just, if you want to keep within the organizational brain trust you currently have, or if you really want to get creative, Bobby Wilson. would be somebody to be
Maddox
interesting.
isn't a manager type, is he?
Maddox, to me, a lot of pitching coaches like to stay pitching coaches because they are usually given almost complete control over how they manage that. Now, in game, it's the manager.
Right.
But now Maddox has a lot of say as well. I don't think people realize that. Bochy relies on him a lot. But the pitching coach and the hitting coach usually like to stay where they are. Managers usually come from base coaches, or they're the assistant, quality control, strategic management, some, business wording like that. Not saying hitting and pitching coaches cannot be managers. They very well can. It is just that typically they are that's why hires goes from hitting coach to hitting coach to hitting coach. They are usually, they're compensated well, and they have a good amount of control over what they coach. Kind of like it's like an offensive coordinator. Right? But just except for the fact that a lot of times they don't want to move. The other thing with the Rangers has been, we talked about that. We've talked about this just off the microphones, is this lasting payroll thing. And I want to say that I think people are really not listening to what was actually said. This isn't, we're going to trade Seager, we're going to trade Semien and DeGrom, and we're just getting rid of our... No. We're already under the luxury tax. We're probably going to maybe let a few guys go, but they're still going to be able to add a few free agents or re-sign guys. They want to re-sign Evaldi. They want to re-sign Heaney. They want to re-sign almost everybody. It's just a matter of, can they make it work in the budget? So, and the reason they want it, and of course, then you see other people, well, they want to get under budget because we have a cheap owner. Seeing that really bothers me because just 2 years ago, we were signing everybody, and everyone was applauding our owner. I think he's really kind of bothered by the TV deal, which is fair. That's the biggest source of revenue you really have, and that's a big deal for you, right? Because that's you.
Yeah.
The NFL is different. They don't have local broadcasting except for radio. It's all, and they have, it's all Fox, CBS, NBC, ABC, right? Amazon Prime, right? So it's all prime time. It's national television. When you get baseball, it's local. So the teams have to negotiate that. So some teams get a bigger deal, some teams get a smaller deal. Now that's where the market kind of dictates. So we'll see what the Rangers get, what they can. I mean, obviously, we should get a pretty good deal. We're a good team with good management and with nowhere to go but up, to me, my opinion. But people are reading it as they're cutting payroll like we're going to become the next Oakland A's. No, it's not happening. We're not going Moneyball here. We're going to probably be a little bit stingy this year so that next year, what it is, they want to get a reset. If we go with luxury tax this year, Chase, we lose, I think, our top draft pick, which is going to be a pretty good draft pick because of the lottery. You're going to have to pay an ungodly amount of money. So why not take a year, hope that you improve them from within, see what you got in some of your young guys, and then going into next offseason, if some of the young guys just have not panned out, guess what? You have money to spend, and you can go with luxury tax again.
Right, and people forget the team still has talent.
Yeah.
And the team's still going to be contenders.
You have a progressing Wyatt
Right.
Langford. You have a Evan Carter coming off a season where you're just too injured. Hopefully you get a full season of Josh Young as we knock on the desk here. And then hopefully you get DeGrom. Then hopefully you get guys like Garcia and Lowe and Heim who can get back to their 2023 forms.
Right.
I think Garcia played hurt. I think Lowe just had some really bad spots in the year where he just was not hitting. And I think Heim just regressed for a year. But I also know he was bothered by injuries. He had that thumb thing last year that apparently could have been bothering him this year. So we'll just have to see with the Rangers. I think they have a good outlook for next year. I really do. But obviously, that's not the big thing in baseball right now. World Series. Where do you start? I mean, game one was amazing. Walk-off, grand slam, Gibby, meet Freddie. It's a great call from Joe Davis. It's a great game.
It's just been a lot of Dodger dominance.
It's been less about, I think, Dodger dominance and more about Yankee incompetence.
Right. I mean, Aaron Judge, for example, who looked a lot better last night, hasn't. There's no sugarcoating. It's been bad.
He was hitting a $136 going into the game last night.
And he and Zach Greinke have the same amount of hits now in the World Series. I mean, you're not going to win games like that. I mean,
No, you are simply not going to win games.
you're
with
not
your
more
best
talented
player.
than the Dodgers. You're not better managed. You're not.
I like Boone, but that's just me. I think he's really had one mistake, and that was bringing in Nestor. I'd have brought in Tim Hill, but that's
Yeah, I would have as well. That's what my friend said as well.
But I still think Boone's a good manager.
I don't think he's bad. I just think that
they
they are getting outmanaged. They are getting out talented. It's too crazy to say with a team with Soto and Judge on the same team. But listen, at the end of the day, they are. Their lineup from top to bottom is nowhere near this Dodgers lineup.
I think when everybody's playing up to their level, their offense can rival. Their offense can rival the Dodgers. But that's just it's just me. No, I think the Dodgers they've been on a roll and the Yankees have not. They just have not been hitting or pitching all that well. They're giving up too many home runs, which is causing a lot of issues for them.
It's also been a National League year, in my opinion. I feel like the American League was just kind of weak this year.
It was.
It was really weak. I think that all the best teams were in the National League.
With the Astros regressing, with the Rangers regressing, with a lot of teams that have been
Orioles just stayed the same with the postseason success. Royals, Guardians, Tigers. I mean, it's just
you had a lot of new blood this year, and a lot of those old guard kind of going away. The Twins didn't make the playoffs. We didn't make the playoffs. The Astros got bounced in 2 games for the freaking Tigers. I think that those typical playoff teams that we've seen be developing over the last several years have now reset in the American League.
Yeah.
And teams like the Royals and the Orioles and the Guardians and these teams you're going to be seeing a lot more often now, and they just need to build that rapport in the playoffs.
Oh yeah, for sure. I just think
the National League
generally it was just the National League with the Phillies and the Dodgers and the Padres and the Mets
and the Brewers.
I mean, those are just teams that were just. I mean, you expected them to be there. You didn't expect a lot of the teams in the American League to be there.
And the Braves. I'd say the Mets are the
Braves, unfortunately, would just hurt. But think about it. If they're healthy, they're one of the best teams in baseball as well.
I'd say the Mets were the only real, and I put this in quotes, surprise of the playoffs, I would say.
At least making it to the CS.
Because this was supposed to be a rebuilding year for them, and we're going to contend next year. And they come out swinging at the end of the season. So I could see the Yankees doing this. Look, it only happened once in the history of baseball.
04 Sox, right?
04 Sox. It in the 121 years of the World Series, with only missing 2 in 1994 and 1904. This has never happened ever. Since 1903, this has never ever happened in the World Series. So clearly, it probably won't happen. But I actually don't even think in the World Series a team that goes down 3-0 is even taking it to 6. They usually just lose in the sweep or they lose in Game 5. I mean, that's just what's happened. I don't even think they've seen it. I think it's happened 24 times where it's been up like a 3-0.
Yeah.
And like 21 of them was a sweep. I think there were 3 where they won 1 game, right? So they won, or the losing team won Game 4. They're in a decent position. You got Cole tonight, so there's your ace. You feel pretty good about Game 5. If you can just have Rodon limit the home runs, you feel you got Game 6. And then, as the great Kevin Millar once said, Game 7, anything can happen.
Right.
They can bring me out there. I mean, it's Game 7. All bets are off in Game 7. So it would probably be Schmidt. And the big surrounding swirling theory is Garrett Cole's going to pitch in relief in Game 7 if it gets there. And it makes a lot of sense. There's definitely
World Series. You don't worry about your pitcher's arms right now.
There's definitely a precedent for that. The first one that comes to mind to me is 01. Randy Johnson throws 100 pitches in Game 6. The next day goes out and throws in relief of Kurt Schilling. There's a precedent for this. I could see it happening, but I think it's going to be done in 6.
Listen, if it gets to Game 7, I'll guarantee you that Garrett Cole sees the mound. I'll call that right now. It gets to Game 7, a historic comeback, a game where obviously you got to win.
To me, the ideal situation...
Make sure he feels good, and if he feels good, you throw him out there.
To me, the ideal situation is Cole is you get up 6-7 runs early tonight, and you can get Cole out of there early. And I've
Still got but the Dodgers got Flaherty on the mound.
and
Right?
so Chase, I've been kind of against the whole pulling these starters early because I think the theory's been, well, we just want to bullpen these games, and I don't think it works as well as people think. But this is a legitimate strategy of let's get on them early and try to get Cole out of this game, so we don't have to rely on him going 6 or 7. We can have him go 4 or 5 and have him be even fresher and more effective for Game 7. Because I'm not worried about arm health. Because screw it, it's the World Series.
Final game, you got plenty of months after to.
As Jackie Robinson told Don Newcomb, I think it was in one of the World Series they played the Yankees. You pitch to your arm. No, I think it was the Giants. I think it was that play-in game. I think it's Bobby Thompson. You pitch to your arm falls off. This is the playoffs. I don't care about pain or no. You pitch to your arm falls off. What I'm worried about is the effectiveness of Cole. If he throws 90 pitches tonight, 100 pitches tonight, what does he have left for Game 7? That's my concern.
Right.
So we'll see if they. I think it's going to be done Dodgers in 6 because I think the Yankees are going to win tonight, but I just don't think they're going to have enough. I don't think Rodon's going to have it tomorrow or not tomorrow. What is today? Wednesday, Friday. Would you like any? Sorry, I kind of took the floor there on that one.
No, I mean, I gave my input. I mean, I don't know. I mean, yeah, I think you got to be comfortable with Cole on the mound tonight. Go out there, But listen, if the bats don't work, you're not just because you got Cole out there. He's not going to bail you out. And, pitch 8 scoreless. You're not going to get that. You need the bats to wake up, and this is a big time, especially if you're Aaron Judge. Make a play, do something, and get your team back in this because there's a shot, especially if Judge wakes up.
If Judge can or somebody, it needs to be Judge. Austin Wells could get a grand slam tonight, and you've got it. You need to get the contribution for everybody else.
I'm just saying you need Judge because he's one of your superstar players, and you need your superstars to win you these games.
You need your captain. You haven't given that name since Jeter. There hasn't been a captain for 10 years. You gave it to him before last year? He's your captain. He's the captain of the ship. You are riding him through this.
Right.
And you're riding his boat. And his boat is sinking right now. It has hit the iceberg and it is about to split like the Titanic. So you've got to try to prevent that and get it back on and get it going again. We'll see. I still think Dodgers in 6. You want to give a quick, with potentially 3 games left here? I assume we both agree it's probably going to be Dodgers.
Yeah, I mean, you can't bet against 3-0, but
hey,
Dodgers in 5. I think
you think Dodgers get done tonight?
I got them winning it tonight.
Look, if they jump on Cole, they're going to get it. If I don't know how much left. I don't know how much the Yankee bullpen has left. That's how I want to word that sentence.
Right.
We'll see. All the eyes of the world are upon them tonight. I'd like to give a quick can we actually get good rappers on here, please, for the pregame?
Well, Ice Cube.
Yeah, I meant for East Coast.
Okay.
You've got 50 Cent, you've got Jay-Z.
Yeah, there's so many guys.
You could go multiple different directions, and no disrespect, but you go with Fat Joe, who was just kind of yeah, hey Yankees, he didn't know what the hell he was doing. And my dad texted me, why do they have all these rappers? And I was like, well, Dad, it's the East Coast, West Coast rivalry. That's a thing. And he's like, oh, well, I know that, but can they get someone good? I'm like, I agree. At least the West Coast had Ice Cube, and they could bring out Snoop. They could bring out Dre. They could bring out so many good ones. But so could New York. Anyway, wanted to throw that out there.
No, I totally agree with you.
Can we get 50 before the game tonight, please? Is it that difficult? Anyway, I think we have the time to do it. Why don't we talk a little college football?
Let's do it.
We haven't had a chance to talk about it much. Just quickly about the polls here. Oregon number 1, Georgia number 2. Then Penn State, Ohio State, Miami, Texas, Tennessee. For some reason, Notre Dame, BYU, and then Texas A&M rounds up the top 10. And I think the biggest thing you've seen this college football season, and that I love, is there are a ton of these one-loss teams. Chase, the last 10 years, it's been, well, if you lose one game, you're pretty much effectively out of it.
Right.
Unless you can just run the table and you're that good of a team, right? But now, with the way things are going with a 12-team playoff, all of these, like Texas A&M, they lost their home opener, first game of the year against Notre Dame. It was a great game. And everyone's thinking, well, you forget that A&M's not out of it. They're now 7-1, ranked number 10, kind of vying for that playoff spot. So I
think best record in the SEC as well.
Well, yeah. Well, Texas is 7-1. Texas is 7-1.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah, I knew that, but SEC record.
Oh, like conference record?
Yeah, I think
I think it is.
I think they're undefeated.
Because they lost one game to Notre Dame.
Yeah.
But also some other teams that are kind of on the outside looking in right now. Iowa State, surprise of the year. Clemson, Indiana, Alabama, Boise, and then LSU at 16. So, and thing with LSU, they lost to USC, I believe, to start the year. And then voila, now they're I think they lost to USC.
I know they lost.
Well, they've lost 2 games. Yeah, they lost to USC, and they lost to
A&M.
A&M
This week.
Yeah, they lost to A&M. So, but their season's not over. They have a chance to get back in that playoff. If they go 10-2, 2-loss team, they're probably in that 11-12 range. So that's what I love about this. I can still watch LSU games and go, this matters. It's great for college football.
Yeah.
Texas obviously just got completely, I hate to say it, but they got completely outclassed.
Oh, yeah.
By Georgia. That defense was giving Arch and Ewers fits. They had no idea what they were doing. And
Texas gave him a shot at the end, and then
that Georgia team is phenomenal. I'm not blaming them. I don't want to be in there.
Oh yeah, no.
I'm a lot more comfortable on my couch watching it happen. Yeah, you get your butt kicked. I'll watch. I'm good. But I think that Texas is probably still one of the best teams in the country. I think Oregon's probably number 1. Yeah, I think they deserve to be number 1, even over Georgia. Dan Lanning's run such a good program. And then I think for like a team like Bama, give DeBoer a chance. Give him time to instill his system. I know you're coming from the greatest coach of all time in the history of college football, so you're not going to have as much patience, but give him at least 3 years to see what he can do with his program, his players. And if after 3 years you think the direction's bad, get him out. Fine. And he'll go somewhere and probably rebuild a smaller program into a winner because he's a good coach. But we'll see. This has been a good college football season, though. I think it really has.
Yeah.
And I think me and you both probably agree on who the Heisman should be. I assume we both think Genty.
Oh, Genty for sure.
Even though Travis has a case.
Oh yeah.
But Genty. So there's your college football update. I looked at my college football predictions, and I had like Kansas in there and Ole Miss in there, and those things are probably not happening.
I just remember I had Oregon, you had Ohio State in the Big Ten. So we'll see what happens with that.
So I had Oregon?
I had Oregon.
You had Oregon, I had Ohio State? Mm-hmm. Well, I don't remember that. I don't recall. But now we move to the world of the NFL.
You want to start with just what's going on?
Well, for the biggest one, I think, is Anthony Richardson right now. It's kind of become the big conversation.
Yeah.
Him tapping out of a game. Yeah, that's a problem. That's a big problem.
And he's benched for the rest of the season.
I mean, unless you're like Dak and your ankle's pointing the other direction, your foot is 90 degrees, you usually need to stay in that game.
Yeah.
That was bad. But you know what? And I don't blame Richardson. And you may go, well, people listening going, well, Brady, why do you not blame the guy who tapped out of the game? I think the NFL has a quarterback development problem. I think every team looks at a guy like Richardson. He's big, can run, can throw the ball a freaking country mile. And they go, oh, he's Josh Allen. Well, Chase, Josh Allen was not very good his first 2-3 years in the league.
Right.
And then he figures it out. He develops. You have to give your quarterback a chance. This is Richardson's second year in the league, Chase. His second. Number 2, people are so quick to judge draft prospects, for one. because we say in the NFL, well, these guys are expected to contribute more than any other draft in any other sport. And that's true. But I think what it's led to, the culture of, because, and I love the draft, it's my favorite thing, and people, a lot more eyes on it nowadays than it was 20 years ago. And I think that the product of that has become these players need to contribute year one or year two. And if by year two they're not contributing at a high level, they're a bust. And I don't like that label. I really think you got to look at a guy minimum 3 years, but I prefer to get to the whole rookie contract and figure it out. Did they get a fifth-year option? Did they not? What if they didn't? Why? Right? Like people wanting to judge Mozzie Smith. It's year two. This is his second year in the league. I'm not expecting him to be a game wrecker yet. Let me see what he is at the end of his rookie cut. At the end of in 2 more seasons, if he's here. I'm just saying, if he's here, if they don't want to cut bait, give him 2 more years, and at the end of his contract, if you think he has not shown any signs of improvement, decline his 5th-year option, or after next season. But if you think he's showing improvement, pick it up. Defensive linemen take a long time to develop, especially interior. It's just a completely they just it's different. I just think there's a quarterback development problem.
I will say though, out of your top pick, you do want to see some sort of flashes.
You do,
and
he's flash.
And Richardson had some moments, but he really hasn't had that like.
Yeah.
Okay, well, there's something here with this. There was, I mean, obviously he's a good runner. Obviously he's got a great deep ball, but there hasn't been like a moment in his short career where it's like, oh wow, that was an unbelievable play. That was an unbelievable game, and you like to see that out of your especially top 5 pick. I mean, you do want to see some sort of flashes. And Bryce Young, for example, I mean, number 1 overall pick, you traded everything to get him, and you have seen nothing from him.
But the thing is give him a chance. This is year 2. Chase, I can't explain to you how much it bugs me with this.
Yeah.
I don't think many rookie quarterbacks should even start year 1 at all, or at least the first half. Look at Drake May. He at least got a chance to sit, watch, and see, and then now he's playing pretty good. He's playing better than I thought he would play.
Yeah.
You let him develop, even if it was just for a little bit. You've got to let the guy develop. If in 3 years Richardson sucks, then yeah, I'll be willing to go, yeah, he's probably going to be a bust in this league. But even then, you don't know, because look at a guy like Baker Mayfield. Look at Sam Darnold, 2018 draft. He's finally figuring it out 6 years later. He finally found a system that works for him and weapons and the right system, the right everything. You've got to surround your quarterback with talent. And this is targeted at no particular team, Chase. You have to surround your quarterback with a quality running game, quality pass catchers, and a quality coach who can orchestrate all of those things. If you don't have those things,
you can't be a successful team with only 1 target, no run game, and no coaching. It won't work.
You're gonna make life a living hell for your quarterback. Look at Mahomes. Mahomes is playing terrible this year. He has been not even a top 10 quarterback this season.
No.
He'll get you an explosive play here and there, but he's not been very good. But they have one of the best DCs in the league in Steve Spagnuolo. They've got Andy Reid. They added Josh Uche. They're adding pieces. They're trying to switch their identity from we're going to outscore you to now we're just going to keep you from scoring.
Right.
Their philosophy right now seems to be if we can just get 3 touchdowns from anywhere, we're going to win this game. This is all we just need 3, and Mahomes is trying to give them that. Whether it's it's just.
Plus, they also got to give Mahomes a little bit of slack. You lost your running back. You lost your best receiver.
And
Pacheco will be back, but Rice done for the year. But you lost your 2 top targets or top weapons, I'd say, and you're just trying to, adding Hopkins. It's just kind of a got to give Mahomes someone to throw to.
Yeah, they added Hopkins, and now you got to look at Chase. What did Mahomes do his first year in the league?
Yeah,
what did he do?
I mean, if I can remember correctly, he wasn't. What, did he come in for Smith or did he start for Smith?
He sat out the entire season for Alex Smith.
Yeah.
The entire season.
I was trying to remember if he came in at all for Smith.
And there was I remember when they drafted Mahomes and people were like outraged. It was like, how could you take an air raid quarterback that's got all this risk and we're not helping the team right now. We got to help our quarterback. We got to help Alex Smith. And they sat him for a year, and now he's one of the best quarterbacks in football in terms of talent.
All
and
time.
he got better at honing that talent. That's what it is. People like Shedeur Sanders, people like Cam Ward, people like Quinn Ewers, people like, I'm not even going to put Carson Beck in that conversation. Right? He's like a 6th-round pick right now for me. These quarterbacks that are so just gifted, they got a great arm, they're accurate, they do all of these things. What you have to do is take the ability and hone it in the right way. And I don't think NFL teams are giving their quarterbacks a true chance to hone that talent. Because the problem is that there will be quarterbacks that are successful doing that. C.J. Stroud's an example, right? Where he came in year one and was a lightning rod for that franchise. And now people think, well, when we draft a quarterback, that's what we need. And sometimes that's not what you're getting. You're getting a guy that's going to have to sit. Bo Nix was a guy I think who needed to play. He has experience. Same thing with Penix, ironically, who the guy sitting. Nix has experience. He needs reps. He needs reps in game, not in practice, not doing these things. He doesn't need to sit. He's good. He knows how to be a starter. And I think that there's just a big issue in football. It's why Williams has really had to develop Daniels. People every year, it feels like every so often you get that quarterback that steps in year one, the lightning rod, and it's great. But then it means that, the next year everyone thinks that the guy they draft is going to be that. That's the crapshoot of the draft. It is truly just hoping you hit the right one instead of, well, hey, how can we best tailor what we do for this guy? What kind of receivers does he need? What kind of line does he need? What kind of play caller does he need? What kind of scheme does he need? Instead of looking at those things, it's just, well, he just sucks. Anyway, I guess let's go ahead and get to our game picks. I got you again last week on the Cardinals and, was it Chargers?
Dolphins, right? Dolphins?
Cardinals,
Yeah.
Dolphins. You took Dolphins, I took Cardinals. Boy, am I glad for that.
Listen, we were watching together, and I was saying, listen,
Yeah.
if I get good player fantasy production out of my players, I'll take it with Cardinals. And I got that.
Here we go, Chase. We got the Texans, and everyone knows this is how we recap last week's games by looking at this week's games. Texans and Jets. Texans have kind of been a little up and down, but they're injured. They're banged up. Diggs is out for the year. ACL gone, which
Unfortunately, we're not going to see Diggs and Diggs for a second straight year.
Another year we should see Diggs and Diggs, and we're not getting it. But they're going to New Jersey, East Rutherford, I believe, to play the Jets, who are slumping. They have been LeBron in terms of Aaron Rodgers, where he's come in and just said, I want this guy. And shockingly enough, Chase, it hasn't worked out as well.
At least LeBron won.
At least LeBron won a championship.
Right.
So who are you taking in this game?
Jets.
I agree. I just think that
too banged up. No Nico, no Diggs.
Texans are too banged up.
Dell is their best receiver left, who will have Sauce on him all game.
Hey, whoa, yeah, Mechie.
Oh yeah, but
I got Mechie.
I said Dell's their best receiver they have right now.
Oh yeah,
and he'll have Sauce lined up on him most of the game. You got to focus the run with Mixon because he's had a great year. But if they can do that, there's nothing, knocking on the Jets' defense.
They're good defense.
Good defense. Just with all those weapons on the offensive side of the ball, being 2-6 is unacceptable. But I think the Jets take this one.
All right, Cowboys at Falcons. Falcons have looked a little up and down. I'm taking the Falcons as well. I wouldn't be surprised if we win though. This is a team we can beat.
Is it? Do we have something against Kirk Cousins? Like, do we know? Like, do we have a little number on Kirk Cousins?
I tell you what.
Because last time we went to Minnesota, that was a destruction game that we went in there.
I tell you what. Did Zimmer coach Cousins? Am I tripping there? Was he there?
I don't think he was still there. I think he might have. I think when he was still there, Cousins was in Washington.
I thought they went straight from Zimmer to O'Connell. So he would have been there for like a year. I think.
Yeah.
I think. Anyway, point for me is this: Cowboys have looked. They looked more physical last week, but the running game is terrible, and not because you don't have the talent, because you don't have the scheme. Your passing scheme is terrible. Your everything is just terrible on offense. You have the 31st ranked defense according to PFF. Everything's bad. People are saying D's nuts to the reporters, which they made up, so we're good there. But it's just disappointing. Disappointing is the word I'll use, I think. Broncos at Ravens.
Ravens, but listen, Broncos.
I know you're a big fan of the Broncos. I
think they're. I mean, listen, they're kind of proving my point.
I think they're being coached well. I think they have Peyton and Vance Joseph on each side of the ball.
No matter what it is, the Nick looks good.
He looks
good.
Yeah.
So far, I'm very impressed with this quarterback class.
He doesn't. Sorry, that was a yawn. He doesn't look bad.
No, and the defense is good. But speaking of the Ravens, real quickly, we'll cover something that happened yesterday. Ravens trading for Deontay Johnson, and I texted you about it. It was like they got Deontay and a 6th for a 5th. I think that's what it was. They traded a 5th for Deontay and a 6th. Tell me Jerry couldn't have done that. Is he that obsessed with a 5th round pick to not go for a top 15, 20 receiver at his best? And
he probably didn't even call.
And I mean,
they probably saw.
I'd do that for a 4th. I get Deontay for a 4th.
They probably saw on the news and had 2 reactions. 1, oh, I didn't know we could trade for him. Or 2, who the hell is Deontay Johnson? That's probably if they had one of those reactions.
I mean, are they just? I just have a hard feeling. I just have a hard belief that Jerry's not even watching the games.
No, he doesn't know. Does he know who Deontay Johnson is? No, probably not. Dolphins at Bills. I'm going Bills.
Yeah. What's funny is if it was in Miami, I take the Dolphins, but I'm gonna go with the Bills.
Yeah, it's in Miami. Yeah,
I'm gonna go with the Bills.
Wink, wink. Saints at Panthers. God, this game's just gonna be unless Derek Carr plays. There's no reason to watch this game.
Saints.
Yeah, they just have enough. I think.
And Bryce Young's still starting.
Raiders at Bengals.
Bengals.
Yeah, Raiders have played well, though.
Yeah, Raiders have played well.
They just don't have enough talent, I think, to hang with the teams. Chargers at Browns. I think this is going to be a disagreement.
Browns.
Really? Okay, I went Browns, too. I'm trying.
Listen, they just took down Baltimore. Jameis looks good.
Yeah.
Chubb's only going to get better. He's still working his way back.
And then you've got Commanders. The Hail Marys. We were watching it live.
We were watching it live. It was
and
great.
We were going absolutely crazy. Yeah. Commanders at Giants. I'm going Commanders.
I got to go with the Commanders.
The Patriots.
I will say, though, real quickly, Daniels was listed as questionable going into the week, so I don't know if we want to use our one caveat.
No.
Okay.
I'm not using mine. Patriots at Titans. God, this game is just terrible.
I feel like this is the one I could use mine. Because if May plays...
Well, okay. We got to make a rule.
No, I didn't use it for Washington.
Okay.
I'm taking Washington no matter what.
What are you doing?
I don't even know, man. Just give me the Titans.
Okay, I agree with you.
Okay.
We may not have a disagreement because I think that was the last one where I really thought we could disagree here. Jags at Eagles.
Eagles.
Jags don't have enough. They have nothing. Bears at Cardinals. Both teams just kind of going through the water. I mean, just kind of going through the mud here.
Cardinals.
Okay, I'm going Bears.
Okay.
I think they're gonna have a bounce back after that.
Okay.
Tyreek Stevenson 3 interceptions for touchdowns to help people.
I think they'd forgive him if he has a stat line like that.
Lions at Packers. I'm going to start writing it.
It's an in-division game.
There are 2 teams I don't think I'll ever pick against.
Who's the other one?
You'll see.
Oh, well, yeah. Give me the Lions.
Okay, yeah, well. That's
won't be shocked if the Packers win, though.
Shocking.
They took the Lions at home on Thanksgiving last year.
We could disagree here, but I don't think we will because I don't want to say because I think you're smart because that sounds so patronizing, but I know how you think. Rams at Seahawks.
Rams.
Yeah, I agree. That was where I thought you were going to go to. We also have the Colts at the Vikings. Now, you got to remember,
Flacco.
This is Joe Flacco. And there's just something about Flacco, man.
I'm still taking the Vikings.
Yeah.
But listen, I think the Colts can make it a game.
Hey, this is Brian Flores, the Patriots coach, going up against Flacco, the one guy that seemed to have success against the Patriots. And so this is fun. It's a fun early 2010s rematch of some of those playoff games. This time we're playing Vikings Colts, which is weird. Buccaneers at Chiefs is the Monday Night Football game, and this is the other team I don't think I'll bet against for a while.
I think if they do have a favorable matchup, I will go against them, but I'm going to take the Chiefs.
I just don't disagree with the Chiefs right now. So we have
listen. I mean, I still think they're due for a loss because they have not been playing well. So if they do run into a team, that plays good game, I don't think they have the offensive firepower. It's crazy to say that right now.
So basically, you're saying the defense, if the defense falters, it's game over.
Yeah, maybe not versus the Tampa Bay team since they don't have their top 2 weapons, but
against other teams,
against another team like, not as bad as the Cowboys, but like the Eagles, for example. Eagles tear them apart. I don't think they have the offensive power to get back in it. But Chiefs,
I'm just saying they are 7-0.
Right. That's
it'd be funny because of the whole mirroring the Patriots dynasty. Oh my gosh! I'm not saying
he's got to win it too.
I'm not saying anything specific. I'm just saying they're 7-0.
Listen, I'll tell you this: if they go 17-0 and win it all, there's going to be a lot of debate.
Oh gosh, I can't. That would be the one thing I think Mahomes could do to separate himself from Brady, because I don't think he's going to win more rings. I just don't see him winning 7 rings or more.
Listen, if Mahomes gets 5, if he gets 5, but
you've got to get 7. There is no. Well, if you get like a few, no, you have got to match him. I think and even then, Brady's always going to have the I played in a tougher era where there were less rules on the quarterback,
and he beat him,
and he beat him in a Super Bowl. The one thing Mahomes could get over Brady that would probably bring some balance is if he goes undefeated and wins the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
So we'll see. We will talk to you guys next week where we'll have the World Series will be over. Cowboys will continue to make us sad, and we'll have more stars and maps for you.
Listen, I'm not upset if they lose. Better draft pick.
Yay. See y'all next week.